In this video, I want to talk a little bit about the first time I experienced a woman being in fear of me. I had not been on hormones very long, probably not more than 3 months, so maybe 90 days I had been on hormones. And I was living in Chicago at the time, and I came home. I lived in an apartment, and I dilly-dallied at my mailbox because it was full of circulars and flyers, and back in the mid-90s we didn't have email really, so everything that needed to come to me came in the mail, and I hadn't checked my box in a few days, so there I was pulling stuff out, and in the back of my mind, I saw a sort of slight, diminutive woman pass behind me and head towards the elevator, and I watched her get on the elevator, and I still was wasting time at the mailbox, closed the door, and realized that the elevator doors were starting to close. And I hustled down that long hallway and shoved my hand in the door, and with my fedora and trench coat, I step into the elevator, and this woman, tiny woman, pulled back against the wall, and looked up at me in just utter concern and fear. And I knew right away what was going on. She was reading me as a white man, a tall white man wearing a fedora and a trench coat. We weren't too far off from Columbine at that point. And all I could think to want to do was to say to her, "Don't worry, 6 weeks ago I used to be a woman too." I didn't say that to her. And all I could do really at the time was just sort of turn around with my back to her, get as close to the elevator doors as I could. I pushed the button to my floor and got off. And as I exited that elevator, I knew that my old life as a lesbian, as a woman, as a butch woman, as a gender indeterminate person was gone forever, I think, because I've really pretty much always been committed to hormones and living as a man full time. And this is something that I think those of you who are on hormones, who want to live as a man and be read as a man by strangers, this is something you need to think about. It was devastating for me coming out of the lesbian community where I was obviously well received by women, but even when I was out in the world, being butch, women were not afraid of me. They might have mocked me or thought I was strange, but they weren't reading me as a man. They were reading me as another gender entirely. And so when I realized that this wall had come down between myself and not only this particular woman in the elevator, but kind of all women, it was really a moment of mourning for me. So on the one hand, there was this woman reading me as a man, which was potentially a very good thing. And on the other hand, she was reading me as a man being in fear of me, which was devastating. And, at the time, this was not something that I could readily discuss, say, with a therapist. I don't know if that's even possible to still discuss with them today. Any qualm, if you will, or concern or regret or fear expressed to a therapist was an automatic no hormones for you. You don't want to be a man. So as you're taking your hormones and you're in the thrall of all the newness and, oh, I got a hair and my voice is getting deeper and so many people are reading me as a man, there may very well be a time when you will be read as a man and the response that you will receive is one of fear. And I think that speaks a lot to the state of relations between men and women. I mean, women as a class generally fear men as a class, and that fear is based on a tremendous amount of violence that men visit on women, both when they're young as girls and through to old age. And so I don't have a ready response or an easy answer for this. You know, when I was first coming out as FtM in the mid 90s, you know, I was on the AOL boards, America Online, which had a robust bulletin board for FtMs at that time. We never discussed things like this. I don't know if they're being discussed today. I hope so. In the event that they're not, this is one of the things that I wanted to share with you. What are you going to do when you're read as a man and the response that you have is one of fear or repulsion? If you've had any experiences like this, put them in the comments. If you have questions, put them in the comments. I'll be happy to respond. And a quick note to anybody who is a hater, I'm going to delete your comment. So don't even waste anybody's time trying to leave some diatribe about Jesus or whatever. It's gone. Everybody else, please, I'd love to hear from you. And again, thanks for watching. Take care.